Hi everyone, my name is Ashton and this is my philosophy for the start of the year. So my philosophy of early childhood special education is first and foremost is building relationships not only with our students but with our families. So this is something that I focus really hard on in my classroom, especially in the beginning of the year or whenever I get a new student, is making sure that I'm spending time to get to know them. It makes it a lot easier on me, makes it a lot easier on them if I get to know their likes and their dislikes, maybe some areas that they're really great at, if they have certain strengths, such as they really are a great artist. I may incorporate that into certain activities to get them motivated to do some of those other things that they aren't really wanting to do, or maybe I have some concerns in some areas. And then not only that, this is their first school experience, so making sure that I am building a relationship with them so that they have a positive attitude coming to school from not only in my classroom but until they're all the way done, the many years that we go to school. I really try hard to make it such a positive experience for them and their families. Sometimes I think that our families come into school and they feel like we're going to be judging them. So I really try hard to build that relationship with families by communicating with them in multiple different ways. I send home a communication folder every single day with information. They have my cell phone where they can always call or text, or if I see something that's really awesome, I'll definitely text them. And then also, we have an online platform now called Seesaw that we use to communicate with our families. And then inviting them into the classroom with COVID, that's been super hard, but this year they did say that we may or may not let them come in, so I'm super excited to be able to invite them into the classroom. I think that also builds that respect of their culture, their morals, where they came from, their attitudes on school. It respects all of that, and it also helps to build that relationship with them. So with that, it just goes with being really family focused. Like I said, I think ECSE is probably one of the most family focused programs that you can get in a school environment, because it is the kids' first experience at school. So a lot of the times I just had my open house and parents are super nervous, and I do my best to communicate with them as much as I possibly can about how this is going to be a positive experience for their kid and a positive experience for them, and I will do anything to make sure that that is a positive experience. At first the families are always very nervous. Like I said, it's their kid's first time, but building that relationship throughout the year and that trust and that respect is really helpful going forward. So I always make sure that I am working on the whole child. I think in a school environment, sometimes we get focused on just working on academics and making sure the kids can count from 1 to 10, or making sure the kids know how to write their names or something, but we don't actually look at the whole child. And that's something that I think ECSE really values, or that's something that I really value in my classroom, is if I know a child's really struggling at home, I'm not expecting them to come into school every day and be the best that they can be at sitting at their desks or anything like that. So I work super closely with our social worker, our OT, our PT, the family, and speech and language, and we really try our best to work as a whole to develop the whole child. And that's something that I really try and focus on in my classroom. I don't just want them to be able to know the academics. I want them to be able to be independent. I want them to have self-help skills. I want them to have those communication skills. I want them to be able to play with their friends, pick up their things, those things that they're going to need to be successful in not only school but life later on. So with that, play is super big in my classroom. I make sure that play is pretty much involved in absolutely everything that we do, and it goes with the relationships, because I definitely try and figure out what they like, and then I will try and incorporate that into maybe an observation, or I'll purposely leave something out to see how they interact with it, or if I'm doing an activity, if I know they really like balls, we may incorporate balls into that sort of activity. So I play with the kids. I make sure that my independent facilitators, who used to be pairs, they are playing with the kids at all times, and we're not just sitting there organizing the play, we're more just following the child's lead during play. And this is where I do a ton of my observations. You will learn so much from a child while watching them play. And then the very last thing that I think is super important is making sure that your classroom, your environment, what you're asking the kids to do, And then the activities, or however you go throughout your day, whatever you're assessing them on, absolutely everything that you're doing needs to be developmentally appropriate. I think it's super hard for kids when they first come to school to sit for 10 minutes to listen to me sing songs and do some like crazy little activities. Oh my god, there's a spider. But I try my best to make sure that we work up to sitting for those 10 minutes. And if they have to stand, if they have to hold something, if they need a little weight on them to make them feel comfortable, if they need to be the leader, we're making sure that what we're asking kids to do is developmentally appropriate. I shouldn't be asking a 2.5-year-old to be able to write their name. That's not appropriate to me. That isn't developmentally appropriate. We know that. So always making sure that the things that we're asking kids to do are appropriate, not just by paper, but what's appropriate for them. Because a lot of these kids come in with those exceptionalities, so making sure that we're not asking a student who doesn't have any verbal language to say a certain word, providing them with other ways to be able to show us that they know how to do that. So those are my 5 big things in my classroom, the 5 big things that I focus on with my independent facilitators. I really try to focus on these things, and I think that it works in my classroom for now, but I'm sure at the end of the year or at the end of this semester there will be something else or a couple things that I'll switch around. Thanks, bye.